Hi guys, I welcome you all to the NAULR review orientation on the National Association of Law Teachers Citation Guide, the NALT guide for short. So let's set sail immediately. Okay. Like we already discussed in the last class or in the last orientation class, NAULR review uses the NALT guide. So the recommended NALT uniform citation guides adopt footnote style of referencing. So as a general principle, all footnotes must be punctuated with a full stop at the end of each citation. In this orientation section, we shall be discussing how to cite these core 5 following sources: the statutes, case laws, textbooks, journal publications, newspapers, and internet resources. So statutes. There are 3 core rules for citing a statute. So the format are as follows. Number 1, the statute, otherwise known as an act, should be cited using capitals for the first letter of each word and without a comma before the year in the citation. 2, if you're referring to the same act a number of times in quick succession, you provide an abbreviated form of title in the footnotes and then use EBID for the rest of the citation as long as the full citation has been given. 3, in the footnotes, the statute is cited first before the section. For example, you are citing Arbitration and Conciliation Act. This is what it entails. The act, you write the Arbitration and Conciliation Act, ACA, Cap 118 LFN 2004. Then your section 15, subsection 1. So subsequently, if you would have to cite the same act, the same Arbitration Act, you use the initials, ACA, that is the abbreviated form, ACA section 23, and then if you would have to continue, use EBID for the same act, EBID section 12, EBID section 34 and all. So please, I want to point out that these punctuations are very important. For example, the S does not have a full stop after it, and then this LFN does not have a comma before introducing the year. So that is it. We move over to case laws. So the format for case laws is very easy, right? So I think this is the easiest resource to cite. So for case laws, the format is this. Case laws are usually cited the neutral way they appear on the law report. There are no full stops in the abbreviation of the name of the law report. That is, you do not use full stops like L.P.E.L.R when you're citing the Law Pavilion electronic law report, but rather you just go L.P.E.L.R. So you use italics for the name of the case with an unpunctuated italic V to separate the names of the adverse parties. For subsequent citation of the case in the footnotes, you use supra. So here, this is a format for the citation of the case of Attorney General Lagos State and AG Federation and others. So you look at the case, it's in italics, and the V is not punctuated with any full stop as it would ordinarily be done when you're looking at random citation, or when you're looking at a case law that is randomly placed elsewhere. So you do not use full stop to punctuate or mark off the V when you're citing using the NAULT guide. So the next one is textbooks. So the format for citing textbooks is just the author, comma, title in italics, and then in an open bracket, in a round bracket, you add the additional information, if any, additional information like second edition or revised edition or place of publication, and then you include the publisher and the year of publication. Now, this additional information is not compulsory. So when you look at a text and you do not find any of this additional information that has been highlighted in red. That is, you don't see any edition, like whether it's second edition or revised edition, and you do not see the place of the publication, it can be forgone. But you see the name of the publisher and the year in which that textbook was published. That is very important. So you must include it in that open bracket, round bracket. So you also add the page number. So we have author, title in italics, additional information, publisher, year, and then the page number. So this is the example. You're citing Thomas Oyelemi Oyelemi's Law of Banking in Nigeria. So you write the name of the author, Thomas Oyelemi, then you mark it off with a comma. You write the title of the textbook in italics, that is the Law of Banking in Nigeria, a critic. Then you supply the additional information, if any, that is, you write where it was first supplied, whether it is 7th edition, and then Lagos State where it was published. So whereas this information are not important, are not available, it is not important, you can't forgo it. But the name of the publisher, that is Sweet and Maxwell, must be included with the year of publication 2009, and then you write the page number. Please note that you do not use P to signify or to notify that it is a page you're writing. You just put the page number, so no need of writing P, just put it 48. This is the style. This is for NAULT citation guide. So these following rules are, however, very pertinent. Number 1, you give the author's name exactly as it appears in the publication, omitting postnominal prefix or titles such as Mr., Mrs., Dr., Professor, Honorable Justice, Reverend, Bishop, as he then was, and the likes of it. 2, for up to 3 authors, insert and between their names as in the following example. So D. Chalmers and G. Davis and G. Monty. You mark each author off with the and then you continue the citation. But for more than 3 authors, you give the details of the first author and add and others in the following format. So you're citing Omaka's work where we have over 3 authors. Say we have like 5 authors, you will just add the name of one author, the first author, CA Omaka, and then write and others. So that is that for the name. You continue with the citation as it would ordinarily be. So that's that. We move over to journal publications. The format for citing journal publication is as follows. You write the author, you mark it off with a comma. You write the title of the article in inverted commas. You include the year in square brackets. You write the volume in round brackets, issue or the number of the journal publication also in round brackets. Then the journal name or abbreviation is italicized. Then you have the first page of the article. Then where the journal is sourced from the internet, the web address and the dates in which it was accessed is also included. So this is really quite simple. You have the author, title of the article, year of publication, volume, the issue, the journal name, and that's that. Okay, and the page number for the journals, that is for journals that don't have any, that is not sourced online. So but where it is sourced online, you include the web address and the date in which it was accessed. So the one significant difference between a textbook citation and the journal publication is that in textbooks, it is the title of the textbook that is italicized, right? But under this journal publication, it is the name of the journal that is put in italics. So I hope we get this discrepancy, this difference. So at your leisure time, you just sit down and really study these things. So for example, Example of a journal publication citation. You're citing Alemika's work in Human Rights Review and International Human Rights Journal. This is just the typical citation. You have Alemika EI. You have the criminal, the title of the article, right? The criminal justice system and respect for human rights, problems and imperative for reform. You include it, you put it in an inverted comma, then you put the year in which it was published in a square bracket, 2011, put the volume 12, put the issue 2, then you write the name of the journal in italics, and then you have your page. As I stated earlier, the page is not marked off by P or PG, like the normal abbreviation for page. You don't do that with NAULT. You just put the page number. So where your article has been sourced from the internet source, when you've gotten those articles from the web, this is how you cite it. You do it the normal way, but after the page number, if any, you include the web address from where the article was gotten from, and then you write the date in which it was accessed, just in this order: accessed 23 February 2020, full stop. Always remember to punctuate your citations, end it with a full stop. So yeah, that is that about journal publications. We move over to newspapers, magazines, and random internet sources. So the format for these is as follows. As always, you write the author, the title of the article. Like, I think this the method for citing these newspaper, magazines, and random internet sources are actually very similar to journal publications, but we'll see the difference. So you write author, the title of the articles in inverted comma, then the name of the newspaper, magazine, website are put in italics. Then you write the city of publication and date of publication in brackets. And then you put the page on which the article was published, if any. That is the first rule. Now, there is a touch of textbook citation and journal citation here, where you have to cite the city of publication and the date of the publication, just the same way you do for textbooks, and then you have to write the name of your newspaper and magazine the way you have to do that for journal publication. So, however, I would love you to really give this one its own focus. So just get the point that you write the author's name, you write the title of the article in inverted comma, the name of the newspaper, magazine, or website where you got, like the random internet source where you got your article, then city of publication, date of publication, and page. So number 2, where the item is sourced from the web, that is where the newspaper or the magazine or whatever it is, periodicals or reports, was sourced from the web address and the date of access is provided. So it's very clear that whenever you source anything from the web, you must include the web address and the date of access. So number 3, where there is no author, the name of the newspaper, magazine, or website is used as the author. So let's just see the example. You're citing the New Era magazine, so you write JN Aduba, the name of the author. The title of the article, Constitutionalism and Citizenship, what is the way forward? The name of the magazine, New Era magazine, in italics. Then the city of publication, Lagos. Date of publication, October 13, 2012. 10, that is the page. So we'll see another format of citation. Here, the second example, we do not have the author of the work. So, and the work was sourced from Vanguard. So you have Vanguard as the author, that is because we do not have the name of the author available. So we use the name of the newspaper, Vanguard. Supreme Court warns on quality, put in inverted commas, then the Vanguard is put in italics, and then the date, the city of publication and date of publication. So there is no page number, so there is no need to write your page number. So the third example, where you have sourced the material from internet, you follow the normal procedure, but you will have to include the web address and the date in which it was addressed, it was accessed, sorry. So that is that. Finally, I will introduce you to the use of EBID, locksit, EBID, let's say EBID or locksit, and offset or adset. Hope this is not getting too much for you, but I would really advise you to take out time after this orientation to study these materials. So number one, EBID is used where a textbook, article, and statute has been cited successively in the footnote. So you're citing Ese Malemi, taught textbook, and you want to cite it subsequently, that is, it is number 2 on the footnote. That is where you will use EBID. But for locksit is restrictively used for only articles cited successively, that is, only articles. You use it for articles alone, you don't use it for textbook. So in as much as you could use EBID for textbook, article, and statutes, locksit is just restricted to article citation. I hope it is clear to this extent. So let's see an example before we come over to offset. So you look at this first example, the use of EBID. You're citing Oyelemi's Law of Banking in Nigeria. It is the first citation, and you intend on citing it in the next footnote. So you have EBID, because it is that same article, EBID 23. Then you have, if you're continuing with that, EBID 50, that is the page number. So when you're using locksit, that is, look at the second example, you want to cite Alemika's work, article in Human Rights Review Journal. You cite it the normal way you cite an article in a journal, but then because it is coming up next, you may decide to use EBID, or you can use locksit just the way it has been used. So we move over to offset and adset. So offset and adset are both used intermittently in intermittently citing sources which have been previously cited. So you cited a source in number 1 as your footnote 1, and you intend on citing that source or that material you cited in footnote 1, you want to cite it again in footnote 10, right? It is no longer successive, it's no longer following immediately, so there is a breach. You want to cite it in footnote 10, so you use offset for that. So while offset is used for textbook source, adset is used for articles. So you look at this example, you see Oyelemi number 1 in the footnote, then you see Aduba number 2 in the footnote, and you want to cite Oyelemi again in number 3, you would have to use offset. Thomas Oyelemi, offset 34, the page number of that material you want to cite in the work. So that is the same with adset. You want to cite Alemika again in footnote 3 after the breach in footnote 2. You write Alemika EI adset 22, that is for articles. So to this extent, I know we are clear, and as always, if you have any questions during the course of came up in your mind during the course of this orientation, you're always free to refer it to the instructor of this orientation. As always, thank you for staying till the end of this orientation.